Welcome back to the Acres Broadcast Center. I'm Matt Coatney. It's that time before every Husker game in which we take you through the entire conference. It's time for the Big Ten Blitz.
This is the Big Ten Blitz. Penn State.
And here to talk about the Nittany Lions, Corey Geiger of DKPittsburghSports.com. Penn State opens the regular season Saturday night under the lights against West Virginia. Corey, what have been some of the bigger storylines during the August prep time for James Franklin's team?
Well, everybody expects this Penn State team to be terrific. You're ranked number 7 in the country. They've never made a college football playoff, so that's the goal. Basically, it comes down to you got to beat Ohio State or Michigan. All right, so you're going to be favored in every other game if you can win those games. You got to win one of the two at Ohio State or at home against Michigan, and that could get you into the playoff. A lot of people are picking Penn State for the playoffs, so that's it. You know, that's really the ultimate goal here. People are saying this might be the most talented team or roster that James Franklin has had.
Any unsettled positions a few days out from the opener?
Well, yeah, they haven't named the starting quarterback yet, but it's Drew Aller. The wide receiver position is really going to be one to watch. They don't really, as of right now, have a number one wide receiver. And so is that going to be a problem against West Virginia? No. Is that going to be a problem against most of the teams they play? Probably not, because the defense is really, really good. They've got a great running game, a good offensive line. They've got ways to beat you. So, again, everything that we talk about, Greg, with regards to this season is going to be viewed through the lens of, can you beat Ohio State or Michigan? Do they have a good enough wide receiver core to beat Ohio State or Michigan? Well, right now, I would say the answer is no. They're unsettled, you know, at kind of ranking the spots. Keandre Lambert-Smith will be the number one. I'm not certain he's a legit Big Ten number one. So then they've got a bunch of other guys competing for spots. But we can talk about Drew Aller all we want. If he doesn't have really good wide receivers to throw the ball to, Drew Aller can only be so effective.
All right, 3-touchdown favorite over West Virginia. How do you see this one unfolding Saturday night?
I think Penn State's offense will maybe be a little sluggish, you know, early on. Get the running game going. We'll see what they do in the passing. I just don't think West Virginia is going to be able to score much. Penn State's defense is just outstanding. So it'll be close to that 3-touchdown number, you know, something like 35-14, give or take or whatever. But I just don't know that West Virginia is going to be able to do much against Penn State's defense.
Corey, I think it's going to be kind of cool seeing an NBC banner flying around in Beaver Stadium.
Yeah, I think we saw one against Notre Dame maybe, like in 2007, I think it was. I think that game was on NBC, but it's different now. We're in a different world with all these media rights, Greg. You just don't. I wonder what the future of college football is going to look like in 8 or 10 years, because I don't even know what TV is going to look like. If we'd have gone back 10 years from now and said, hey, look at all these streaming services, who would have really been able to predict all that? So what's TV going to look like 10 years from now? I really have no idea.
Good stuff. Penn State hosting West Virginia Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. Central on NBC. Corey, we appreciate it. Thank you.
This is the Big Ten Blitz, Northwestern.
And here to talk about the Wildcats, Louis Vicaire from the Wildcat Report. Northwestern will open the season on Sunday, taking on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And Louis, coaches hate distractions. Well, Northwestern's had a bucket load of them all summer long. How has Coach Braun gone about just trying to keep this team focused and getting ready for a game?
Yeah, well, what I think he's done is he's focused 100% on getting that team ready. And the last couple of weeks, it's been all about Rutgers, and they've tried to kind of deflect all the questions about hazing and Pat Fitzgerald and all those kinds of things. They're just trying to focus on football. And I don't think there's a team in America more looking forward to kicking off the season than Northwestern is right now. They just can't wait, you know, get back on the field where everything makes sense, and they do what they came here to do. So this is going to be a team, I think, that's ready to play on Sunday.
Louis, when we talked to you in the spring, there was a battle of quarterback. How has that gone during August?
Yeah, well, we don't really know. I mean, fall camp, we only had one open practice. We got to see about an hour of it, and they were rotating reps. David Braun said yesterday that they have selected a quarterback, but he's not going to make it public. I assume it's going to be Ben Bryant, the transfer from Cincinnati. I think that makes the most sense. But we'll have to wait until Sunday to see who trots out with the first team.
What other storylines have happened in August on the field? I'm done with the off-the-field stuff with you, but what about on the field? What are some things that have gotten some buzz?
Well, I think that, they've added some interesting additions in the portal. I think in addition to Ben Bryant, they got Cam Johnson, a wide receiver that has more than 1,300 receiving yards to his credit as a college player. And A.J. Henning, the burner from Michigan, is now a wide receiver, and he's going to help in the return game a little bit. There also, there have been some additions to the coaching staff. Skip Holtz, a name that we're all familiar with, is now an assistant to the head coach. We're not 100% sure what that role looks like, but he'll be there. And then they've got a DJ Vokalek, who would normally be a defensive coordinator, but because, David Braun was just elevated in July, he didn't feel like a coach could be ready to get the team ready for the opener. So David Braun is going to continue to be the de facto defensive coordinator, and DJ Vokalek, who was most recently at Nebraska, is going to be a special assistant. So they have a couple kind of nebulous roles that we're not sure if they're defined yet, but that'll be interesting to watch too.
All right, let's break into the matchup. Rutgers is the opponent on the road. How do you see this one going on Sunday?
Well, it's interesting. Northwestern and Rutgers both had one Big Ten win last year, and they both look at this game as a potential victory. Northwestern's a 6.5-point underdog. I think this is probably their best chance at a Big Ten win anyway this season. I think what's crucial for them is to hold on to the football. They had the worst turnover margin in the country last year. And if Ben Bryant, he's a steady veteran quarterback that has 2 years as a starter under his belt. If he can just, control the offense, don't turn the ball over, don't make mistakes, and then they can stop the run defensively, I think they can hang around and stay in the game. And I think it should be pretty tight, actually.
Wildcats on the road at Rutgers, 11 o'clock Central Sunday on CBS. Louis Vicaire from the Wildcat Report. Louis, we appreciate it. Cornerstone Bank is committed to providing you game-changing solutions for your financial needs. Bank on a solid foundation. Cornerstone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. The current time is 12 minutes after 6 o'clock Central here in Lincoln. The current temperature here at our Acres Broadcast Center at Memorial Stadium is 85 degrees. Up in Minneapolis at Huntington Bank Stadium, it's also 6:12 p.m. Central. The current temperature there is 80 degrees. The wind coming from the southeast or across the field diagonally at 14 miles per hour. I'm Matt Coatney, and the Big Ten Blitz continues. All 14 Big Ten teams are playing during week one of major college football, including a rare Sunday afternoon contest. Tonight, Nebraska and Minnesota are the only Big Ten teams playing. The Spartans of Michigan State host Central Michigan tomorrow night in East Lansing. Mel Tucker will try to put last season's 5-7 disappointing season in the rearview mirror. As the Spartans head coach, he has to replace quarterback Peyton Thorne, who transferred to Auburn. On the other side of the ball, he's got a great returning starter in all Big Ten linebacker Cal Halliday. He had a conference high 10 tackles per game last year and finished with 120, the most by a player at the school since All-America linebacker Greg Jones in 2009. Another Big Ten matchup tomorrow, Utah State at number 25, Iowa. The Hawkeyes have two high-profile transfers from Michigan. Quarterback Cade McNamara started 16 games for the Wolverines and led them to the college football playoff in 2021. Tight end Eric All only played 3 games last year due to injury, but was a major factor in the playoff run the year before. And speaking of Michigan, East Carolina at number 2 Michigan. Tomorrow or on Saturday, the Wolverines will face the Pirates of East Carolina on Peacock, which is NBC's streaming concern. That's part of the new Big Ten contract. I'm Matt Coatney in the Acres Broadcast Center at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, and that's the Big Ten Blitz. That will wrap up the Countdown to Kickoff show. The Matt Rule pregame show comes your way next.
The Matt Rule pregame show is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative, helping Husker student-athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or to donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. Also brought to you by LNK, the official airport of the Huskers.
Good evening from Minneapolis, where tonight the Nebraska Cornhuskers will launch their 134th season of college football, the first under head coach Matt Rule, who joins us now. What have you learned about your team over the last month? What has been their body language to you? What have you gleaned from this group?
Well, this is a great group of young men, and it's a team that loves to work, that really wants to win for the university and for the state. They have a true sense of legacy. They want to uphold the legacy that's come before them. And I'm proud of them. I'm hopeful that they play really well in a way that they're proud of.
How much progress do you think you've made since December, or is the true barometer start tonight?
No. The work started in December. We've come a long way. Even, over the last couple of weeks watching us in practice versus how we looked in practice in the spring, we've come a long way. And I think, it's safe to say that when you look at us at the end of the year, we'll have made another huge couple steps from where we are now. So this is a tremendous opportunity, a great first step. We're going to go out and compete, do everything we can to play our best football. But we know that great days are ahead, and so this is the first step in a wonderful journey.
Use the word compete. Were you happy with the competition across the board for spots for playing time?
Oh, yeah, these guys compete. And, hopefully we'll have a chance tonight to play a lot of guys, be it special teams, be it rotating guys in. And I think as you look to the future, weeks, we have some guys that unfortunately had to leave home. But that was guys that get injured, they'll be ready to play. So, we have a good young nucleus, a great group of guys.
Farmers Mutual Nebraska experienced the personalized difference. When your insurance is kept local, visit fmne.com to contact an agent near you. We've got more with the coach coming up next.
This is the Matt Rule pregame show, brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. You're listening to Big Red Football.
America, it's time to gear up and get out there in a new Ford vehicle. And it all starts at your local Ford dealer during the Discover Summer Sales Event. Choose from a great selection of trucks and SUVs equipped with the tech and comfort you need to discover your best summer ever. With a large inventory in stock, now is the best time to trade in, trade up, and discover summer with Ford. Now get 3.9% financing for 66 months plus up to $3,750 bonus cash on F-150 and F-150 Lightning. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Is your garbage disposal not disposing? You had one job. Drains backing up can cause a horrible smell in a home, damaged pipes, and so much more. Some signs that your garbage disposal may be going out include frequent clogs, abnormal and louder noises than normal, or water is leaking from the bottom, just to name a few. John Henry's is here to take care of all the pipes and drains in your home. Call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing.
Nothing goes better with Husker Sports in Fairbury. Fairbury premium quality hot dogs deliver the home game experience to your family and friends. Fairbury, the official hot dog of Husker Nation. Tonight, the Huskers open the season against the Golden Gophers, a conference game, a division game, a lot of importance on this. You've known PJ for a while. He's really built a nice program here in Minneapolis. What do you like about what he's done?
Yeah, I mean, listening to him, the accomplishments they've had over the last 7 years are, things that haven't happened at University of Minnesota in a long time. And I think a lot has to do with him, the stability there, the way he builds his program. So, they play football the way I like to play football. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to run the football. They're going to play defense, pick their spots to be explosive. They're excellent on special teams. So this is a team that's built in the same image of the team that we're trying to build.
You mentioned earlier in the week their third down percentage. How big is that going to be in this one?
Well, I think anytime you're a team that wants to run the football and control the clock, you're going to be in third downs, and you have to convert. You can convert on the ground, but you're going to have to be able to drop back and throw it and make plays, and they were able to do that last year. And we want to be the same type of team. So we're going to have to find ways to convert on third down versus a third down defense for the University of Minnesota that was excellent last year. So it'll be a lot of great challenges, but our guys are excited about it.
Their quarterback, Cadillac Manis, started the last 5 games a year ago. What does he do well?
Well, he's got a huge arm. Even in the spring game, he threw one about 65 yards. He's got a big arm. He's accurate. He's tall. He can see. He's a dual threat. He can run the football on the zone read. But more importantly than that, he can really get in there and extend plays. When he came in the second half last year against the Huskers, we had a 10-0 lead, and he rattled off 20 straight. So he brought some juice for them. He's an excellent player.
PJ said he's chasing ghosts, getting ready for the Huskers, but the two play callers he's got are new this year. Does that make it a little bit more difficult, or do you look at PJ's DNA maybe more?
No, I think it makes it difficult, right? Anytime a team's new, you assume that they've worked on some things that year, so you're always preparing for, hey, what's going to be new? And then secondly, he has new coordinators, new guys calling the plays. They're going to have a different rhythm, a different vibe. And so first games to me, you have to go out there, you have to just do what you do well, try to react well in the situations and really pay attention to them during the game, see what they're doing, and be ready to counter that.
It's not a new defensive coordinator. Joe Rossi is a pretty well-respected guy. What are his defensive personalities like?
Well, they play a lot of base defense, and they're not a big blitzing team. They have a really good third down package, as we mentioned. They're going to get after the quarterback there, but in first and second down, they're going to play 4 down. They're going to play quarters. They're going to keep everything in front of them. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to try to knock the ball out and force you to execute. They don't give up a lot of big plays. So really well coached. They have good players. They have a safety in Nubin, who's an NFL draft pick. So, they'll be quite a challenge.
Do you script out the first drive of the game? Is that how you do it with the offense?
Yeah, we script out really all the situations plus the opening however many plays. Just some games might be 8 plays, some games might be 15 plays. Sometimes we've scripted out, the first couple plays of the second half. But, we know right now, first time we're in 3rd and 1, we're going to call this. The first time we're in the goal line, we're going to call this. So a lot of the work we try to do ahead of time. And then we see what the other opponent's doing. If they're doing something different, we have to react.
You have a new quarterback for the Huskers, but he's not new to playing college football. How much does the experience of Jeff have playing at Georgia Tech make you sleep a little bit better on the night before a game?
I've seen him, my interactions with him were watching him play on TV. So that's the best side of him. I think the biggest thing with Jeff for me is when it was live in the spring, he really took off. So I'm expecting him to be a triple threat for us. He sat in my office the other day, and he said to me, Coach, it's been almost a year. He only played 5 games last year, and I told him, I said, hey man, I only coached 5 games last year. So he and I are kind of on a similar journey.
Husker Football brought to you in part by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit buyfordnow.com for all your truck, SUV, and electric vehicle needs. We're back with some final thoughts from the head coach next.
On the Huskers Radio Network.
Challenge. It's not something you shy from. It's a chance to up your game. Every day brings a new challenge. But with the enhanced Channel Seed brand on your side, you can rise to it. With our top-performing seed, innovative digital tools, and expanded agronomic support, you can turn tomorrow's challenges into your next advantage. Your enhanced Channel Seed brand. Let's rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. Read and follow pesticide label directions, IRM, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
SeatGeek's the ticketing app for fans like the sideline shot caller.
Come on, boys, pick up the pace!
SeatGeek got him a great deal on seats right near the action, so when he yells,
"What are you doing? Block him!"
you can be absolutely sure the players heard him. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
There's a hero in all of us. Pioneer is proud to partner with Nebraska and Iowa for the Pioneer Heroes Game. Together, we want to recognize and celebrate local heroes who exemplify the goal of positively impacting the community and who stand as an inspiration to others. If you have a family member or a community member you'd like to recognize, please nominate them at huskers.com/hero so we can celebrate the heroes in your community.
Allergy season is officially here. Your home should be a place where you can escape dust, pollen, and other allergens. But every time you enter your home, you bring them inside. John Henry's offers numerous products to remove allergens and germs from your home. Call John Henry's today to learn more about our indoor air quality products to breathe easier in your home.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing.
This is Big Red Football.
No profession requires a broader range of skills and sense than farming. Being self-sufficient is critical, and so is knowing when to lean on experts. If adding acres to your operation or refinancing debt is part of your plan, Dakota Mac can help you get there. We provide long-term, fixed-rate loans for ag real estate. You owe it to yourself to learn how Dakota Mac can benefit your operation.
Hi, it's Boyd Minery from Dakota Mac. Call me at 402-463-4637 to learn all about our competitive rates on ag real estate loans.
Preparation. It's the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pregame routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
This week's contestant for the Woodhouse block punt for a touchdown contest is Hector Estrada. Remember, if the Huskers block a punt, return it for a touchdown, Hector Estrada could win a 2-year, 10,000-mile-per-year lease on a truck from Woodhouse. Go to Huskers.com/Woodhouse for official rules and how to enter. Speaking of blocking punts, special teams. The last 4 games between these two programs have been decided by a touchdown. Kind of anticipate the same thing tonight. How big of an impact will special teams have on this one?
Well, we've tried to teach our players that the first game of the year, sometimes the second, it comes down to, obviously the things that always control winning, but they come down to really the 3 T's, tackling, teams, and turnovers. And so, watching the games last week, there were a lot of gaffes, a lot of mistakes on special teams, a lot of big plays. And so we've worked really hard at special teams. We've got good specialists. We've got a good commitment from the team. Not everything's going to go perfect, but, with 2 closely matched teams like this, it's going to come down to the turnover battle. It's going to come down to one play here, one play there. It's going to come down to a field goal. And so, we've got a young guy out there in Tristan Alvano. We've got all the confidence in the world in him. We're going to trot him out there and let him go do his thing.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Comments of the head coach of the Huskers. The 1890 initiative helping Husker athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. More pregame coming up from Huntington Bank Stadium next.
On the Huskers Radio Network.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
To win the game, you got to have more strength. You got to be tougher. You got to be reliable. You got to want it more than the other guy. And you need a great team you can count on, backing you up the whole time. Whether it's in the field with your Massey Ferguson or on the field with the Huskers, red is the color of getting it done quicker, smarter, and efficiently. So this season, make sure you're checking out the lineup that'll get more done where and when it counts. From your Nebraska Massey Ferguson dealers.
Welcome back to the Acres Broadcast Center at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. I'm Matt Coatney. Let's take a look at the Sandhills Big Ten scoreboard update. The 1890 Initiative, helping Husker athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. All 14 Big Ten teams are playing during this week 1 of major college football, including a rare Sunday afternoon contest. Nebraska and Minnesota are the only league teams playing tonight. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central Michigan is at Michigan State. On Saturday, Utah State at number 25, Iowa. East Carolina at number 2, Michigan. They will play on Peacock, which is NBC's streaming concern that is part of the new Big Ten TV contract. Jim Harbaugh will miss that game as he starts his school-imposed 3-game suspension. Fresno State at Purdue at 2:30 p.m. Central. Number 3, Ohio State and Indiana on CBS. Buffalo at number 19, Wisconsin Saturday. Towson at Maryland. I'm Matt Coatney in the Acres Broadcast Center in Lincoln. Get ready, Nebraska. The Matt Rule era is about to begin. Greg Sharp, Damon Benning, and Jessica Cootie are standing by. Nebraska at Minnesota. Husker football next.
This is Nebraska Football, fueled by Hy-Vee. The final moments before kickoff are presented by the Nebraska Lottery, helping build a better Nebraska. And your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit buyfordnow.com. The Lincoln Airport is now the official airport of the Huskers, with direct flights to Denver, Chicago, and now Houston. Book your tickets on goflylink.com.
Jack West to the 35. Nice move. 40, 45, 50, 45, 40. Run, big fella.
Today's game broadcast is also presented by these local sponsors.
As evidenced by last night's display of over 92,000 fans jamming into Memorial Stadium for a volleyball match, Husker Nation's passion for their teams is unmatched. The loyalty that fans of the Big Red, it's never wavered despite the lack of success for the last decade on the football field. Tonight, the Matt Rule era begins with renewed optimism as the Cornhuskers have traveled to the Twin Cities to face the Golden Gophers. Good evening from Huntington Bank Stadium on the campus of the University of Minnesota. I'm Greg Sharp. Matt Rule was hired last November to try to revive this once proud program. It's been an intense offseason, which saw some players depart. But an incredible number of 63 newcomers have entered the program. The preseason camp, it was hard, tough, but that's the style that the new Huskers head man wants to implement into Husker football. The barometer of that effort begins to show here tonight, as Nebraska faces a P.J. Fleck Minnesota program that is coming off of back-to-back 9-win seasons. The Gophers are replacing a bulk of their offensive line, one of the school's top running backs, and a quarterback that played for 6 seasons. Despite all of that, Fleck believes his program has reached the level of consistency to battle for a Big Ten West title. What a beautiful night. What a great night. Conference game, divisional game. It's Nebraska versus Minnesota, and when we return, we will hear the thoughts of former national champion Damon Benning as pregame continues from Minneapolis.
The final moments before kickoff are presented by the Nebraska Lottery on the Huskers Radio Network.
To win the game, you got to have more strength. You got to be tougher. You got to be reliable. You got to want it more than the other guy. And you need a great team you can count on, backing you up the whole time. Whether it's in the field with your Massey Ferguson or on the field with the Huskers, red is the color of getting it done quicker, smarter, and efficiently. So this season, make sure you're checking out the lineup that'll get more done where and when it counts. From your Nebraska Massey Ferguson dealers.
There are a lot of rates out there, and it can be tough to find the right one. Well, let's make it easy. With FNBO's special offer CD of 5.5% APY for 7 or 17 months, you can earn more, save more, and do more. That's 5.5% annual percentage yield for 7 or 17 months at your nearest FNBO location with a minimum deposit of $500 and an FNBO Premier checking account. So stop on by and give your savings a great big boost with the Great Big Small Bank. FNBO, member FDIC.
Did you know that Lincoln's water is 4 times more hard than what is recommended? This will shorten the life of your water heater, harm pipes through mineral buildup, and is bad for your hair, skin, and clothes. What's the solution? A water softener. Go online to jhlincoln.com to learn more about water softeners and our flexible financing offers, or call
John Henry's 435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
America, it's time to gear up and get out there in a new Ford vehicle. And it all starts at your local Ford dealer during the Discover Summer Sales Event. Choose from a great selection of trucks and SUVs equipped with the tech and comfort you need to discover your best summer ever. With a large inventory in stock, now is the best time to trade in, trade up, and discover summer with Ford. Now get 3.9% financing for 66 months plus up to $3,750 bonus cash on F-150 and F-150 Lightning. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're listening to Big Red Football.
Our planet, it's hungry. Blessed with millions of acres in this great nation, our farmers work tirelessly to feed the planet through seasons of uncertainty and seasons of growth. It's a tough business to do alone. As owners of Central Valley Ag, it's together that we move forward. There's room at the table. Find your seat at cvacoop.com. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
America, it's time to gear up and get out there in a new Ford vehicle. And it all starts at your local Ford dealer during the Discover Summer Sales Event. Choose from a great selection of trucks and SUVs equipped with the tech and comfort you need to discover your best summer ever. With a large inventory in stock, now is the best time to trade in, trade up, and discover summer with Ford. Now get 3.9% financing for 66 months, plus up to $3,750 bonus cash on F-150 and F-150 Lightning, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
What's colder than the coldest? A polar bear.
Live reports of a polar bear on the loose.
Man, is it cold enough for a polar bear in here?
Yes, we use SOS. Come on in.
SOS to the rescue! Nebraska defensive lineman Nash Hovig here. People know me as the polar bear, and when I want to stay cool, I call SOS. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition, guaranteed. Mention the polar bear and get a free 10-year labor warranty on New York equipment. The best warranty in town.
Here we go again. The celebrating, the accolades. Ever since we added Marco to our team, our technology can't lose. Day after day, success after success, Marco's made our business IT a force to be reckoned with. The only drawback of being technology all-stars is keeping champagne away from the electronics. Find out what your technology could be saying at marconet.com.
The final moments before kickoff are presented by the Nebraska Lottery, helping build a better Nebraska.
Welcome back. Minneapolis, Greg Sharp along with Damon Benning here at Huntington Bank Stadium. Both teams getting through their warm-up routines before they'll retreat to the locker rooms and get final words of instruction from their head coaches here tonight as the Matt Rule era about to begin for Husker football. Damon, your first trip here to Huntington Bank Stadium. The field sits east to west, much like in your days at Oklahoma State. That place set east to west. It's weird because the sun's going down and it's kind of shooting back into the eyes of the guys. Your thoughts about this field?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to handle. I saw a lot of the specialists staying on the field to the very last minute before they had to come back in and get dressed. I saw Tristan Alvano down there. It was almost like old times on a Friday night in high school, but I think that's lends itself to what you're saying about the direction of the field. The wind is a little bit of a cross deal, and it whips across the field. It's interesting to say the least, but too late to worry about construction. This one's all about ready. This is all about game time.
What are going through the minds of the players right now? I mean, opening game of the year, the heart rate's got to just be pumping.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's this level of excitement where tonight is where you get to culminate and celebrate your work. And if you look at it as a celebration, which I think they've talked about openly on campus during this camp season, Nebraska's got a chance to kind of play loose, play fast, and be a little bit relaxed.
For the first time ever in Big Ten football, we have an availability report that got voted on last week by the athletic directors in the conference. Huskers will not have Nick Henrich or Jamari Butler. Don't like that, but I think the bigger losses maybe come on the Minnesota side with a couple of their linebackers not going to play.
Yeah, especially, listen, right in the middle, down the heart with what Minnesota's dealing with. Maybe Nebraska can manufacture some running yards, but I think with them it's going to be about their patience. Minnesota's a little bit bigger than they've been up front in the previous years along the defensive line. And they're on another defensive line coach, again, under P.J. Fleck. I believe it's the third or fourth in his tenure. At least this time he gets one of his alums to come back and teach it. They need more production out of that defensive line to protect the walking wounded in that linebacking.
Damon, P.J. has said he's chasing ghosts because he doesn't quite know what Nebraska is going to do. How can the Huskers use that to their advantage in this one tonight?
So I think for the opener, it will be more about what Nebraska does well. I think Coach Rule, Coach Satterfield, this staff, they're going to try to get Nebraska to stay in themselves. And here's the kind of the sneaky little fun fact. Minnesota defensively, when they get in some of their odd front, their three-man fronts, looks a little bit like what Nebraska wants to do defensively. So Nebraska's had some practice and a little a little preparation to get ready for Minnesota, what they want to do. But I think for them, it's establishing their game plan, which is going to be ground and pound and run the football early.
All right, Gophers last year won 9 games. 2 years ago, they won 9 games. I don't know that people around the country kind of think of them as that type of a program, but that's really where they are, right?
That's a fantastic point. It's like, wait, you guys are coming off consecutive 9-win seasons. I was talking to a little bit of their staff out there on the field, and they shushed me and said it's the best kept secret going. Just ask the national media. So they understand clearly what they're bringing to the table. And I'm not so sure they care about whether we do or not, but they have embraced it. This is a winning program, and P.J. Fleck is looking to three-peat.
All right, for the Huskers tonight, all of ours first chance to see Jeff Sims as the starting quarterback. What excites you about Jeff, and what does he need to try to do to help guide this team to a win here tonight?
I really like his composure. He can take constructive criticism. He can take good, hard coaching, and he stays in his lane when he has good success in practice. He's one of those guys that for all those adjectives can stay in the moment. And I think that's what's going to bode well for Nebraska. You need a guy that's got that even-Steven, that even-keeled kind of temperament, and Jeff Sims brings that to the table. What we hope is being in good positions on offense, maybe Nebraska staying on schedule, or maybe not being as predictable, will help limit some of those turnover bugaboos that he's had in the past. Some of that can just simply being put in better situations, which will be the task for Nebraska staff tonight.
It's a fine line, isn't it? You got to try to be aggressive at times, but take care of the football. I mean, that's that's why the quarterback position is so big, right? You got to make all those tough calls in an instant.
It is. And listen, Nebraska wants to have those shot plays come off of their run action. So those plays don't really work, and they don't give you the eye candy that you want without being able to run the football. But as long as they can keep Jeff Sims comfortable in terms of down and distance, I think you'll see the best of what he has to offer, which is a big-time athlete with prototypical size and a very good temperament to handle whatever comes with him, especially on the road.
He is a big man. All right, both teams have retreated to the locker room. We're going to have the marching band from Minnesota come out and entertain the crowd before the start of this opening game of the 2023 season. First week of college football, week 0 behind everybody now. We're into the real stuff here tonight. When we come back, we'll get an update from down on the sidelines from Jessica. I'll set the starting lineups, and we'll get you closer to kickoff. Huskers and Gophers here in Minneapolis.
The final moments before kickoff are presented by the Nebraska Lottery on the Huskers Radio Network.
Preparation. It's the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pregame routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
America, it's time to gear up and get out there in a new Ford vehicle. And it all starts at your local Ford dealer during the Discover Summer Sales Event. Choose from a great selection of trucks and SUVs equipped with the tech and comfort you need to discover your best summer ever. With a large inventory in stock, now is the best time to trade in, trade up, and discover summer with Ford. Now get 3.9% financing for 66 months plus up to $3,750 bonus cash on F-150 and F-150 Lightning. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
There's a hero in all of us. Pioneer is proud to partner with Nebraska and Iowa for the Pioneer Heroes Game. Together, we want to recognize and celebrate local heroes who exemplify the goal of positively impacting the community and who stand as an inspiration to others. If you have a family member or a community member you'd like to recognize, please nominate them at huskers.com/hero so we can celebrate the heroes in your community.
Husker fans, it's time to gear up for the season. So let's do it right. Jerseys, hats, hoodies, and more. Shields has everything you need to show your Nebraska pride. Visit our fan shop online or in-store for the biggest and best brands in the game. You'll find the right gear to level up your team spirit with all the essentials for your pregame parking lot party. Shields, proud partner of Husker Athletics and football fans everywhere.
You're listening to Big Red Football.
Our planet, it's hungry. Blessed with millions of acres in this great nation, our farmers work tirelessly to feed the planet through seasons of uncertainty and seasons of growth. It's a tough business to do alone. As owners of Central Valley Ag, it's together that we move forward. There's room at the table. Find your seat at cvacoop.com. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
What's colder than the coldest? A polar bear.
Live reports of a polar bear on the loose.
Man, is it cold enough for a polar bear in here?
Yes, we use SOS. Come on in.
SOS to the rescue! Nebraska defensive lineman Nash Hubbard here. People know me as the polar bear, and when I want to stay cool, I call SOS. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition, guaranteed. Mention the polar bear and get a free 10-year labor warranty on New York equipment. The best warranty in town.
The final moments before kickoff are presented by the Nebraska Lottery, helping build a better Nebraska.
We're back, Huntington Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Huskers and Gophers getting ready to do battle tonight. A Big Ten West matchup last year of divisions in the Big Ten Conference. We're adding those 4 Pac-12 schools to the league next year, and divisions go bye-bye. We're not going bye-bye. We're going down on the field. A third member of our broadcast crew. Here's Jessica Cootie.
Hey, Greg, thanks so much. Yeah, let's start with the weather. Temperature-wise, it is absolutely perfect down here. It is so beautiful, not too hot, but in case the guys do get a little bit too hot, they have brought in these new cooler fan type looking things. They spin back and forth and they're misting water, so in case the guys do get too hot, they'll keep them nice and cool over here on the bench. But the wind is going to be a factor here tonight. It is blowing about 20 to 25 miles an hour towards that west end zone. I noticed during warm-ups with the return guys, they were paying really close attention to that, getting a feel for how that thing is picking up in the wind when you are returning down there in that end zone. As far as warm-ups goes, a little bit different look for the Huskers to start this season with warm-ups with this new coaching staff. They came out about 6:50 and they immediately went to team warm-ups, so team stretches, team warm-up lines before going to those position warm-up drills. Now, as far as injuries goes, keeping an eye out on those guys. Let's start with the guys that are returning that we have talked a lot about leading up to this one. Teddy Prochowski, full warm-ups, full go, looked great in warm-ups. He was warming up behind Turner Corcoran there at left tackle with Bryce Benhart starting over there at right. Marcus Washington, great to see him back out in full pads and going through warm-ups. Full go, I did not notice a limp at all for him that I noticed, so that is also good to see for Marcus Washington and a target out there at wide receiver. Again, no Nick Henrich, but of course he's out here coaching up his guys alongside Luke Reimer. Looks to be John Bullock that'll be getting the start there at middle linebacker with Buddha Wright backing up those guys. It's also been really fun to watch this new coaching staff going through warm-ups. They were loose, they were smiling, they were having a great time. You definitely get the feeling that they are ready to kick this thing off. Greg, we'll send it back up to you.
All right, thank you, Jessica. I know you're a big fan of Marcus Washington. I think it's big if he can go tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. He's kind of in my opinion, he's kind of the backbone of who they want to be, his personality. He goes to work, he minds his business, doesn't complain a ton. He's a real tough guy, and he's battle tested. His temperament and his personality can go a long way. And what is outside of Kemp is relatively inexperienced in terms of being in the moment.
Let's give you some of our Nebraska soybean starting lineup. Let's start with the black shirts up front. Nash Huntmaker will be the starter at nose tackle. Ty Robinson, who had a sack in the game a year ago, will be joined by Blaze Gunnarsson. The Jack, which is kind of a guy that can be an outside backer, put his hand in the dirt as well. Chief Borders, the Florida transfer, gets the nod for the Jack position. The inside backers, Luke Reimer, 4 sacks in his career, a couple of INTs, led the team in tackles a year ago. Will be joined in that backfield by John Bullock, the Creighton Prep walk-on to the Husker program. Omar Brown will be one of the safeties, along with Deshaun Singleton, who picked up one of those coveted single-digit numbers. And the corners, Quentin Newsom, who was a third-team all-conference pick a year ago, along with Malcolm Hartzog, who had a tremendous freshman season for the Big Red last year. He is a favorite of this coaching staff. Now on the offensive side, up front, making his 24th start at left tackle, Turner Corcoran. Ethan Piper, the left guard. The center is Ben Scott. Ben is the transfer from Arizona State University. Nuri Nwili is the right guard. Nuri did not play a year ago, was suspended by the NCAA, but back and ready to play now. Bryce Benhart, the Minnesota native, will make his 30th Husker start at right tackle. The tight ends will be Nate Borkature and Thomas Fedoni. Sure good to see Fedoni back. He's been just injury-riddled throughout his Husker career. The Council Bluffs native, so highly touted a couple of years ago. Wideouts, Billy Kemp, the Virginia transfer. IGC, Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. And they'll be joined by Marcus Washington at the starter spot. Jeff Sims, the Georgia Tech transfer, started 23 games for the Yellow Jackets. We'll get the start at quarterback. Big fella, 6'4", 220. And a junior, Gabe Irvin, wins the starting job as the I-back, 6', 220, and a sophomore for Gabe. You'll see Grant, Johnson, and Johnson playing there as well. And Janiron Bonner will also be a guy that'll be out there an awful lot. That H-back, fullback, tight end, slot, they'll move him around all over the place. Again, those are our Nebraska soybean starting lineups. On Nebraska Farm Fact, soy-based biodiesel is good for our air, environment, and Nebraska economy. I feel so good, Damon, for a guy like Fedoni, who just has not been able to stay healthy and play. He's got to just be really itching to finally get his crack.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got some personality traits. It sounds a little weird, but he's not like Coach Rule, very competitive, doesn't like to be told no, rather ask for forgiveness than permission. Was chomping at the bit since spring ball when they kind of limited his reps, and he felt like he was ready to go. He's like a wild horse, ready to be unbridled.
How many touches do those tight ends get? I mean, I think that the coaches have talked all offseason. They want to get those tight ends involved.
Yeah, I think they've got 3. Borkature will be very, very good for them. Fedoni's another. And Janiron Bonner, who you mentioned. Keep an eye on Luke Lindenmeyer. They'll utilize him in a lot of different roles. And you know who can be a quarterback's best friend? First start on the road in the Big Ten? Tight ends, the intermediate passing game. Can we just play catch?
Lindenmeyer, a Papio product for the Cornhuskers. Well, it's filling up. It's technically a sellout. They still got some seats to fill here in the last 10 minutes before kickoff of this game. The students have shown up. They've got a huge student contingent that sit behind the goalposts on the east end of the stadium. Nebraska and Minnesota getting ready for a Big Ten West clash here tonight. The Gophers have won the last 4. Most of those have been decided by a score or less. Tight games. We anticipate that again here tonight. We're going to keep an eye on the wind. It's blowing at about 18 miles per hour. Damon referenced it earlier. It's a bit of a crosswind as this stadium sits east to west. It's out of the south, so it's kind of blowing across the wind. You're right. Those specialists are going to have to keep an eye on that throughout the game tonight.
Yeah, it's not just the kickers, too. I mean, those that want to field the ball got to be able to track a ball in its flight in the air, because field position, you hope, plays a pivotal role in how this game is going to unfold. And fielding the ball could be equally as difficult as kicking.
We're going to have the coin toss here in a few minutes. We don't know kind of Matt Rhule's philosophy. Is he a defer guy? Is he a guy that wants the ball first? I'm kind of anxious to see some of that.
You asked me at breakfast. It kind of caught me off guard. But if I had to guess, he's old school, which would lead me to believe he'll defer. Right? He kind of plays it close to the vest. He's got that old soul.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Can't wait. This is it. College football ready to get cranked up here tonight in Minneapolis. Beautiful night. Temperature right around 80 degrees here at kickoff for this game between the Huskers and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. The band putting together the final parts of their pregame festivities. They've got a flag corps out there, and those flags even on the field are blowing it at a pretty good clip down here on the turf at Huntington Bank Stadium. Going to step aside, get our final break in. We're back. We'll give you the decision of the coin toss, and we're going to kick off the 2023 college football season. That's coming up next.
Hi, I'm a volleyball. It's an okay life. I go back and forth about it. But I really wish I was a Nebraska Lottery Powerball or Mega Millions Mega Ball. See, all they have to do is mix around in a big plastic bubble and roll down a ramp, and then people win millions. What a great life. As for me, I get thrown around all day and have to worry about getting spiked, which is about to happen right now. Oh, ow! Couldn't you just do a nice, gentle tip?
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Experience a redefined car buying process when you shop at Genesis of Southwest Omaha. Our seasoned team provides exceptional customer service with personalized attention, expert advice and knowledge on vehicles you're interested in, and a streamlined purchasing experience. Shop our full lineup today and test drive the thrilling 2023 Genesis G70. This fierce and powerful sedan pushes limits with exhilarating capabilities and 4 available powertrains to choose from. Visit us in store or online at southwestomahagenesis.com.
Hey Huskers, are you looking for precision ag technology to level up the farm equipment that you already know and love? Look to Ag Leader for the complete package of year-round precision farming tools to help you steer it, plant it, apply it, harvest it, and manage it more efficiently and profitably. Do it all on your farm with Ag Leader. Contact your local Ag Leader dealer or visit agleader.com for more information.
Our planet, it's hungry. Blessed with millions of acres in this great nation, our farmers work tirelessly to feed the planet through seasons of uncertainty and seasons of growth. It's a tough business to do alone. As owners of Central Valley Ag, it's together that we move forward. There's room at the table. Find your seat at cvacoop.com. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
As a fan, you wear your jersey on your back and your heart on your sleeve. There's a place for people like you. The Cox Fan Zone. Play NFL Pick'em and Collegiate Pick'em for a chance to win a $100 Visa gift card each week, or even a $500 Visa gift card grand prize.
Hey, Husker fans, this is Greg Sharp. Say Fan Zone in your Contour voice remote to play. Not at home? Visit cox.com/fanzone. Go Big Red.
Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification on the Huskers Radio Network.
Greg Sharp, David Benning, Jessica Cootie, Ben McLaughlin back with you at Huntington Bank Stadium. Cole Hartman in charge of our boards back in the Acres Broadcast Center, getting ready for the opener of the 2023 Cornhuskers season tonight on the road. 4th straight year Nebraska opens on the road, or away from home at least. Last year was neutral site with Northwestern, but a conference game, a lot on the line tonight. And why not Nebraska in the Big Ten West? Nobody's really picking the Huskers, Damon, but I think it's pretty wide open. But if you want to get that goal, you probably need to win a game like this.
Yeah, how the West will be won is you have to steal one on the road. And not a better time than in an opener with a lot of uncertainty. See if you can't shake things up in a hurry by getting off to a good start if you're Nebraska.
Neither team is out of the locker room yet. Matt Rural's first time to address this team before an actual football game, a tone setter. He's been careful, Damon, not to put just an overabundance of importance on game one, saying it's 1 of 12. It is big, yes, because it's the one we've got. But I think he's just going to be cautious not to just lay it all that, man, we got to win this game or it's all over.
Yeah, that's kind of been his approach. You heard Coach White 2 days ago in a presser say, Thursday doesn't mean anything if we don't have a good Tuesday. Yeah. You know, that's just kind of been their motto. He said it. It's become kind of funny now. It says day by day on the stadium. We might as well go day by day.
All right, Huskers and Gophers, they've been in such tight games. 5 of the last 9 have been one-score games. The last 3 have been decided by 7. This team of Minnesota coming off of a Pinstripe Bowl victory over Syracuse, where they faced a Tony White defense. Coach White had already left to come to Nebraska, but they did get to prep for their bowl game against the 3-3-5. We'll see if that maybe gives a little bit of an advantage for the Gophers.
And we'll see coming out in that game where you had some guys like Mo, 33 carries for just 77 yards. So don't kid yourself in thinking the 3-3-5 can't stop the defense or can't stop the run. It was very good just about 7 months ago.
All right, let's talk about Kaliak-Manis, the quarterback. We saw him a year ago. Ty Robinson whacks Morgan right at the end of the half. We're kind of going, oh, we're up 10-0. Morgan's out. He came in, led him to scores on 4 the first to go. 5 drives. What do you like about him?
In that game, where you had coming out in that game, where you had potentially he's like one of the better kept secrets. 33 carries for just 7 extremely athletic. He's got a big arm. Don't kid yourself. He runs enough. 3-5 can't stop the defense, and he's got a little bit of a gunslinger's very good. Just about 7 months ago. Remember what he did the play before. He's coming at you again. If you're Nebraska, keep him in the pocket, much like Nebraska.
Morgan's out. He came in, let him to scores on 4 the first 5 drives. What do you like about him?
Don't let him get it with his legs.
Nebraska have to be careful with
Kaliak-Manis. Potentially, he's one of the better kept secrets weapons on the outside. I think he's extremely athletic. He's got a big arm. He runs enough
for 6 years, the COVID years,
and he's got a little bit of a gunslinger's mentality.
Loved his leadership.
He doesn't remember what he did the play before. He's coming at you again. If you're
Minnesota, he just doesn't have the game reps that Tanner Morgan had all those years for the Gophers.
He's more than a depth runner. He's got a big time
already out here.
Weapons on the outside.
Better athlete than Morgan. The guy that is from the field, brought to you by here for 6 years. The COVID years. He was a real heady quarterback. Audience here in Minneapolis. What comes to your mind?
Well, right now, it's the crowd. The energy is at a really, really high level. The stadium is kind of built up, not out. 50,000. It's pretty compact in here. The noise carries. Will Nebraska have a performance as they start to slowly make their way out of the tunnel that can silence this Gopher crowd?
It's really loud on the horseshoe part. That's where the student body is for the Gophers. The Huskers captains have emerged from the far side, and now the Huskers will come ready to charge out. That real grabbing them at the base of a narrow tunnel that comes out across the way from us to come on out here for this one. Hey, the best view of your field begins with FieldNet Advisor, an intuitive and fully integrated platform that recommends when, where, and how much to irrigate. Improve your view and simplify your irrigation plan. Talk to your Zematic dealer or visit fieldnetadvisor.com. Huskers now coming out of the locker room. They'll be set up on the far side as we look at it from our view in the press box. That comes out across the way. Omar Brown, Blaze Gunderson, Gabe Urban, and Bryce Benhart. Your field begins with FieldNet Advisor to be a captain. Intuitive and fully integrated platform that recommends when, where, and how much to irrigate.
Yeah, a couple of key things if you're looking at Blaze Gunderson,
your irrigation plan. Talk to your Zematic dealer or visit FieldNet Advisor.
Throughout Nebraska's tenure have liked.
Huskers now
he's
coming
out here
out
as a captain, but how about
Bryce Benhart? Hasn't always been popular from our view in the press box.
With the fan base in terms of his play.
Omar Brown, Blaze Gunderson,
answered the
Gabe
critics
Urban, and Bryce Benhart.
This is a big one.
Huskers win the toss to be a captain. The second half, season long kicking off. They'll be kicking to go right to left, so from the
a couple of key things if you're looking at Blaze Gunderson, who has been a project,
one of our
a guy
questions.
that
What is old school coach Matt
throughout
Rule
Nebraska's tenure have liked. Defense on the he's field out here as a captain, but how talked about black sheep since he's got here. He hasn't always been popular. Talked about enough. It's an important fan base in terms of his play. He talked about guys will wear those jerseys that are practicing and starting. That's originally how it started. You can tell he's talking to some folks. He must know some people back there.
They'll be kicking from right to left, so from the east end of the field to the west. Nebraska wearing those football to start. So there we go. Uniforms. So white questions. What is old school beautiful red pants? Gophers go the maroon look. Even though it's gold out night at Huntington Bank, they go maroon.
Yeah, you saw the football account tweet that out. It's an important tradition to him. A bit of a